nakuuliza wewe Gachagua, wewe wakati ulienda kwa treasury, wakati mnaapishwa pale, unarudi unasema pesa imeibiwa. Nani alikutuma uende uangalie kama pesa iko ama haiko? Na tunakuuliza Gachagua, na ungepata pesa, ungerudishia nani report? Na vile tunakujua wewe.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you very much for your greatest support. I would like to appreciate you guys for what you're doing. If you're within the country, you can tell me which part of the country you're watching from, and if you're outside the country, you can as well tell me which country, or drop me the flag in the comment section so that I can figure it out by myself. Now, fellow Kenyans, I want us to talk about something here. I want us to discuss something very crucial because I feel like we really need to talk about it. The reason as to why the DCI, that is the Directorate of Criminal Investigation, was formed. The reason as why this body was created in this country was because people thought that maybe it's going to be a crime fighting body. But today, nowadays, what is happening in the DCI is that Kenyans are feeling like it's no longer working like for justice. When you try to look at the cases, everything that the DCI is handling, it's much different from people's expectations or from what Kenyans expected. In other words, right now the DCI is working for politicians. That is what I can say. Right now, the DCI is more of a political body than a crime body, a crime investigation body. That is what I can say. And I was digging deep into this, and I was asking myself this question: that how comes that right now the DCI has been compromised by the politics? Like, how on earth the DCI body decides to be compromised by the politics? And I understood one thing, that this issue did not start now. It started a long time ago, and I want us to look at the background. Now, before we get into the background of this, the reason as to why I'm doing this video is because of remember the two Somali boys. Somali The DCI told us that they were arrested.
Mimi nataka kuambia Wakenya ya kwamba hatutaruhusu taifa letu kudanganywa na watu ambao hawatuheshimu. Kama jamii ya Somalia hawezi kutuheshimu, my friend, njia ni kwamba funga virago, weka kwa ngamia, Magadiso. Enda hiyo Magadiso yenu hiyo. Jubaland break. Enda Jubaland. Enda upige hiyo.
Like they arrested them. And now what was funny, the reason why now I decided to do this is because the photo that they were using, they blurred the faces. Now, why would you blur the faces of people that are already on the public domain? That is the first question. You are blurring the faces of these boys. Already the faces is on the public domain. Everybody is know their face. So question is, why are you why are you deciding to blur their faces? Can you tell us, okay, we are blurring the faces because everybody knows them? It's like right now you want to tell me that, let me give an example with William Ruto. The president has done something. Of course, everybody knows that he's the president. And then all of a sudden, you're blurring his face. For what purpose? You know, maybe, let's say, for example, maybe it was something very, very deep that you didn't want people to see. That is where you can blur but you can't blur the face of somebody that everybody already knows. So are you seeing those are the kind of things that the DCI is doing? They are telling us that they have arrested these boys, and then these boys are coming outside to record a video while holding their passports. So I don't know. I don't know whether they're planning to travel outside the country or what. I really don't understand. But anyway, let us take a look at the background of all these things. And one thing we believe, one thing all of us knows very well, that there is a body that normally investigates serious crimes, murder cases, corruption, terrorism, organized crime, financial fraud. Those are the cases that the DCI is supposed to handle. But then, when you try to look at the DCI in Kenya, the DCI is supposed to do the same work that the FBI is doing. If you understand the FBI, that is the Federal Bureau of Investigation, mostly that one happened. That one is normally done. That body is normally in the US. So the DCI is like the FBI of the US. But then when you try to look at what the FBI does and what our DCI is doing, you come to realize that those are two different bodies. Like they're supposed to serve the same purpose, but one is serving its purpose, one is serving this purpose on the interest of the politicians that are in power. That is what is happening. Like the DCI right now, they are serving, they are doing these investigations on the interest of the politicians that are in power. But in theory, this body should be independent, impartial, and evidence driven. Like what this body is not even supposed to depend on anybody. This one is an independent body. That is why it's the DCI. But then how politics interfere. This is now how politics interfered with this body. Number one, you talk about appointments and loyalties. You know, the DCI, what happens is this, that what they do is that this body normally serves the leaders that are in power. Like for instance, the DCI appointed by the president, loyalty is expected. Any DCI that is appointed by the president, loyalty is expected. For instance, when George Kinoti was in charge, that is back in 2018, 2020 to 2022, when George Kinoti was the director of investigation, like now Uri Amina replaced, he was accused of being used by President Uhuru Kenyatta's government to go after William Samoei Ruto's allies in the war of corruption. Remember during the time that those who were against people like Rigathi Gachagua. Remember back then when Rigathi Gachagua was arrested, was taken to DC and all that, when Uhuru Kenyatta was in power. So that is, you see, so in other words, they are trying to say that this body normally serves the president. Uhuru Kenyatta was the president when Kinoti was the director or the boss. And then Kinoti was doing what Uhuru Kenyatta was telling him. After that, right now, Ruto took power. After Ruto had taken power, Kinoti resigned. Why? Because, Kinoti resigned because he knew very well that I can't survive under this guy. I really harassed his men, his allies, so it will be very difficult for me to serve with this guy. Kinoti resigned. That showed, the resignation of Kinoti actually really showed how quickly the office would shift with the political tides. Number two, talk about selective investigations. And I want us to compare during the time of Uhuru Kenyatta and during the time of William Ruto, for us to get the ground, for us to get a good ground on how the DCI normally serves politicians more than the way it's supposed to serve Kenyans. Because it's a body that is supposed to be used to investigate what is happening, whether you are in government or not, but truth must always come out. But then now, instead of bringing the truth out, they're trying to hide the truth by protecting those who are in power. Under selective investigations, talk about this. Under Uhuru Kenyatta, cases against William Ruto's camp were pushed aggressively. Like corruption probes into allies such as Rigathi Gachagua. I think I've talked about that when I was talking about the first one, political appointments. And then after Ruto became the president, many of those cases collapsed. This is it. When Uhuru Kenyatta was the president, there were a lot of cases of corruption that it's like they were tying William Ruto together with his allies like Rigathi Gachagua. And then when William Ruto took power, all those cases collapsed in court and were quickly withdrawn. Now, the withdrawal of these cases by the DCI really showed that DCI isn't guarded by justice, but by who holds power. That is exactly what it is. It is who holds power, not justice. Number 3, we talk about weaponized justice, whereby leaders uses DCI to silence critics, harass opposition, or protect allies. I think this one is very much open, whereby you find that the DCI is the body that is being used to harass people, especially those who don't support the government. If you don't support the government, what they do is that they send the DCI to come and harass you. I think we've seen this several times happening. For instance, land fraud and graft scandals involving political connected families often disappear before reaching court. I think that one is self-explanatory. Now, somebody would ask that is there always corruption within the DCI? That does the DCI, within that DCI, do we have corruption? My answer is yes, we have corruption. Why am I saying this? Because bribery is normally common. And a lot of suspects with the money or political connections often pay to kill files. Unakuja unapata kwamba a case is in the DCI, like this thing is being investigated, and then all of a sudden, simply because this guy has got money, what happened is that hii case inaenda inanyamaza kabisa. You will not hear anything about this. You will not hear anybody talking about this case. Inaenda inanyamaza kabisa. So that one shows you, that one tells us how money is normally being used to wipe away cases and to kill the files that involves politicians and leaders who are well off. Number 2, leaked intelligence reports sometimes tips of suspects. I repeat, sometimes you find that leaked intelligence reports sometimes tip of suspects. Like a suspect, there is a suspect and then is being tipped off. And then unakuja napata kwamba hiyo ni kesi ni kama inaenda hivi alafu inaisha. And then the last one is talk about even ordinary Kenyans complain that unless you bribe, investigations move at a snail's pace. This is what happens. If you don't bribe the DCI, like if there is a case that is supposed to go so fast, to be done so fast. So the problem, if you don't bribe the DCI, then your cases or your case cannot be handled, or it cannot go so fast. So in other words, you have to pay money for your case to be handled, or to be heard. This one even happens in most. I think this one happens hata kwa police stations. Police stations kama hujatoa chai, bila shaka basi wewe jua kwamba your case will not be heard. Now, does this affect real life cases, case studies? We have this. I think I've talked about this, whereby we had got different leaders whose cases, when someone was in power, the cases were there, and then when another person came in, the cases disappeared. Some people resigned and all that. You see, there are also major graft scandals, which involves. I've told you that any case that involves politicians, huwa inakuja inaisha kabisa. Like for instance, there's some cases here that I knew that easy cases are supposed to be handled very keenly and very carefully. You remember the case of NYS scandal with Anne Waiguru. What happened? Si kesi ilienda ikaisha tu. The issue of Aro and Kimwarer Dam scandal, the issue of COVID-19, KEMSA billions. Are you seeing all those things? So ni kama ukishapeana pesa wewe hiyo kesi inaisha. So in each case politically connected figures were rarely convicted. Cases stalled, evidence lost, or witnesses disappeared. This is how this thing happens. Let me bring it now very clearly so that we can all understand. I want all of us to be on the same page. This is what happens. You see, those cases that involves politicians and normal Kenyans, this is what happens. That person that has got no power, if at all maybe is a witness, that witness disappears. How? Anawawa, and then the body maybe will be found somewhere, it just disappears like that. Nobody knows where it's going, nobody knows what happened. That is how they handle these cases. But then, there are also some weaknesses at the DCI. We know very well that the DCI is normally under National Police Service. The National Police Service normally reports to the Interior Minister, making it vulnerable to execute orders. So are you seeing right now why the DCI is compromised? Because it is under Murkomen. The DCI works hand in hand with the National Police Service. That is under not Lagat, not Kome. How do you call this? This boss. How do you call him? I'm just forgetting this name. I don't know why. We have got Lagat, not Lagat. Lagat is the deputy. We have the So are you seeing where the problem is? All these guys are serving under Murkomen. So Murkomen gives order, it goes until it so Murkomen akisema kwamba hiyo kesi ishe itaisha. Akisema kwamba hiyo kesi pelekwe hivi alafu iachiliwe kwa sababu inahusisha watu, basi bila shaka itaachwa. So those are the places where we have got problems. And this thing is coming to it's having a lot of impact on the public, because ordinary Kenyans completely lost faith in the justice that is being offered by the DCI, and then petty criminals are pursued aggressively, but big fish walked free. Ni ile mtu mdogo anachukuliwa hatua, lakini yule mtu mkubwa kesi yake inaisha kabisa. And then last one, there's this creation of a culture of impunity, where leaders knows they are untouchable once they have political backup. I really don't know how we are going to solve all these problems. So as I conclude, fellow Kenyans, because I would also like to listen to your thought at the comment section, this is what I would like to say, that Kenyans this year has the potential to be powerful shield for justice. But as long as political leaders from Uhuru Kenyatta to William Ruto and beyond treat it as a political weapon, it will remain compromised. Until the DCI is made truly independent, it will keep serving the powerful instead of the people. I want us to understand ourselves. If these guys continue using the DCI as their own weapon, then there is no single day that the DCI will serve Kenyans as expected. But if they decide that let this body remain by itself, an independent body, to do its investigations, then we have a lot of peace. And that is why you come to realize that the real victims of political interference are normally politicians, and they are not politicians. It's ordinary Kenyans. I would like you to tell me what you think at the comment section. Do you really think that there is something that needs to be done for this DCI to perform its duty? Because you can't tell us that you keep on giving us wrong information, and you want us to believe you. You want us to take that seriously. After all, guys, that is just my thought, and that is all for now. Let me know what you think at the comment section. Please don't forget to drop me a comment, tell me what you think, and where you're watching this video from. Until we meet again, I have been your host, Boniface Wino. Bingo.